And a happy Tuesday, everybody. Chasing Big Joe, 1025 The Game. He is Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos as well. Hope you're having a good day so far. What's up, JoJo?
I am proud to announce that I have also flipped from McDonald's Egg McMuffins in the morning to Wendy's, the biscuits they have two for $2.19. And I'm telling you, that should be the story today, unlike something else that's happening across town about some kid flipping around. Right? Am I right?
Yeah,
Am I right?
No, I think so.
Thank you.
Is there other news that we should be talking about?
They're offering me more money. So I was like, I'm going to go do that. That's the bottom line.
Way it goes. Yes, there are reports all over Twitter or X that Jared Curtis, the 5-star quarterback from Nashville Christian, has in fact flipped his commitment from the Georgia Bulldogs again, but this time to the Vanderbilt Commodores, that he wants to stay home.
Good for him. You know, if he's happy, and if signing day's tomorrow, isn't that crazy? Used to be the first Wednesday in February, but now it's now, right? Yeah. It's happening now. So, and plus the portal, all that plays a lot with it. But I mean, he's good. I've seen him play many times. He's a heck of a quarterback, and hopefully translate to the next level. But good for, I mean, that's what happens when you win. All this great publicity, people want to come play for you. Clark signing that 6-year extension there, no question about him leaving. And Diego, I mean, putting them on the map. So good for them. And Curtis is a heck of he's a big dude, like 6'4", 6'5". And good for Clark, good for Barton Simmons. I think in all this, Barton Simmons doesn't get enough.
Yeah. You know, what's crazy is when a story like this would have happened 5 years ago, who would we have called to have on the air?
Barton Simmons.
Right, to talk about it.
Yeah.
And now Barton Simmons is the guy responsible partly responsible for getting him there. I remember when they said he was going to the game, I was like, oh, watch out. And, at first I think a lot of people were like, I wouldn't read too much into it. Like why would you pick Vanderbilt over Georgia?
Right.
But I think they've changed that narrative. They have changed that narrative. Now, can they keep changing that narrative and keep it going?
Right.
Time will tell. But I just remember going like, hey, I mean, I know he lives here and he's from here and, his coach went there and everything, but where there's smoke, there's fire.
You're right. Was it the Auburn game that he went to and people were like, or LSU game, or
I think it was LSU.
All right. And they were like, yeah, I mean, I went to the LSU game with my brother. I'm telling you, that wasn't like any Vanderbilt atmosphere I've ever seen. And it was crazy. It was loud. I mean, it was loud. And that's what winning does, man. Winning turns everything around. So good for him. Good for Vanderbilt. National Christian plays in the state championship Thursday down in Chattanooga. I forget who they play. But they're down there Thursday. So he's got one more thing to do before winning the state championship and then go to Vandy and make things happen there.
They play, hang on, I'll pull this up.
The University of School of Jackson.
Okay, thank you.
USJ.
Which is, they've won before, right?
I think that's where Trey Smith went to high school, if I remember correctly, in Jackson. I think that's right. Yes. They're really good. Also, your Panthers play.
It is the Chase versus Plaster Bowl, as the Panthers will play BGA.
Oh, I would love. Oh my God, I would love to see you.
I really want to go. To be honest with you,
you punt to him, and then go downfield and try to tackle Plaster. You talk about two.
Hey, look, we were both at his bowling event last night.
Yeah,
this is not a made up thing. I witnessed it. Darren McFarland was standing there too. He saw it. George hit 6 strikes in one game. I mean, he bowled 6 strikes. But
not in a row.
I think like 4 were in a row.
Okay.
I think it was 6 out of 7.
Not bad.
Yeah. And so, I mean, Darren and I are looking at each other like, what just happened? Like, and then Willie walked down, Pat Sperduto, like everybody had to see this.
I want to see you.
So I think George is in a secret bowling league on like Thursday night.
Well, that's great, but I want to see you and him in the Oklahoma drill. It'd be like two hobos fighting over bologna sandwich. I mean, just going at each other.
Chase, now hold on a second.
No, Chase, you're going to hit me. Don't hit me in the face right there.
That's the money maker.
No, but good for you, man. It's celebrate your team being in your alma mater being the state.
Well, it was funny. I truthfully, I was like, is it Saturday? Is it Friday? Like, And I was like, yeah, my alma mater plays yours on Saturday. He goes, Chase, the game's Thursday, and by the time you figure out what day it is, my team will be up by 2 touchdowns.
Oh, he's like, Parker, get over here and punch Chase in the stomach for me.
Parker was running around last night too, doing a good job.
Parker's doing a great job.
Were you parking cars? Like, what were you doing?
What are you doing? Serving drinks?
Basically.
Parker's behind the bar. What can I get for you?
It's
like a Shirley Temple. It's like, I
Brian,
got you.
It's like Brian Kelly invites him and then makes him park.
But Robert Saleh and Matt LaFleur.
That's who it was. Okay, yeah.
For those that don't know, when Brian Kelly, the embattled, fired LSU coach, was in coaching Division II, his 2 grad assistants were Robert Saleh, Matt LaFleur, and he had a Christmas party. And they got all excited, like, we're going to go to a Christmas party with the coach, and everybody's going to be there. And Brian Kelly makes them park cars all night long. And then nobody tipped them, and nobody said thank you. And they said, if we ever get in a position like that, we're going to treat everybody good, not like how he treated us. So Brian Kelly was a jerk years past. So that goes on,
that hasn't changed. But got a great show planned. We'll obviously talk a lot about Jared Curtis flipping to Vanderbilt. Talk some Titans as well. Terry McCormick going to join us at 12:30. Tim Hasselbeck at 1. Peter Burns from ESPN and the SEC Network at 2 o'clock to talk more about the coaching carousel and all of that. The New England Patriots and Mike Vrabel opened up a can of whoop ass last night on Monday Night Football, and they continue to just storm through the NFL at the chagrin of Amy Adams-Strunk.
I love it. I absolutely. Something happened.
I hope they never lose again. I hope they run the table. I hope they win the Super Bowl.
Right.
I don't even like the Patriots, but I'm petty, and it would be fantastic.
Well, if they get Super Bowl, wear those uniforms they wore last night, because my God, they look perfect. Did you see the New York Giants kicker miss the field goal? I've never seen that. And when Troy Aikman said it the same time I said it, I'm like, holy cow. He stubbed his toe, I guess, and then missed the ball completely like Charlie Brown. And then the holder's like, what the hell? And I think there were 6 Patriots chasing him and just buried him on the ground. And then they cut the Jackson Dart, and he says, oh my God, with such disdain on his face. I'd never seen that in football before. But the best part was when the holder realized he's going to get put in middle earth, and he stands up to run, and they just slam him. Vrabel's even kind of laughing about it. I mean, it was something. But they're 11-2. They got a bye week. Then they got to finish out with Buffalo, the Jets, Miami, and somebody else. I mean, there's a chance they go 15-2 and have the number 1 seed.
I mean, I feel like right now
it's them and the Broncos.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, it's kind of fun to see. I mean, I know the Patriots did it for a while with Brady, but to kind of see it back to what it, to see 2 teams that really haven't been there in a while, I think is entertaining.
And
it's entertaining because Amy Adams-Strunk is like ready to just punt somebody.
Oh, those games. I bet that his name is not even mentioned around anywhere at the facility, around her, anything. But good for him. I mean, he got what he wanted.
Hey, Amy, did you?
Let me ask you this:
did you watch the game last night?
Could he have done that here? Had they given him what he has in New England, could Mike Vrabel done that here?
Yeah,
absolutely could have.
If he had the right roster, I mean,
well, that's anything. But
yeah, but I mean, I think when I knew he could do it is that year that Henry was hurt and they used 90-something players,
21,
and won the number 1 seed.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that showed me what kind of a coach he was.
Right.
Now, could he be a jackass and like piss you off and some of the decisions he made, like go, what are you doing, Mike? Of course, but I think the good outweighed the bad, and I go back to around now in 2022. And like, why didn't you just give them a chance to fix it? I'm not exonerating John Robinson, but I just feel like they should have gotten a chance to fix it.
After 23?
Whenever he got fired. Was
23.
23.
Yeah.
I mean, I forget about 22. Like that was that Ravens?
That's when they didn't make it because she fired John Robinson.
So the 22. All right, so it was the 21 season. They won the
They're
number one
one
seed.
seed.
They lost to the Bengals.
Yes, sir.
And then it was the next season.
22 is when they fired John Robinson after the Eagles game, and they lost 7 straight, whatever it was.
Right.
Didn't make it. 23, they're trying to get everything together. Rand
Yeah.
comes in, they go 6-11.
Right. Okay.
And
there's been so much crap that I forget it runs together.
Yeah, and I think if she would have given Vrabel the control, Henry stays. They get some more linemen in here. I think Tannehill probably would have stayed for another year, and then he would have had an opportunity to do it. But that was not going to happen. And now you see what he's doing in New England at 11-2, and I think 9 or 10 straight, whatever it is, and rolling. And it's just really sad because you think he might have been able to do that here. And like all you Vrabel detractors go, he didn't make the playoffs, and 18 and 22 and 23, and last game he won was in 19 over the. I get all that. You know how many teams have never been there, and look at him now. How'd he go into New England and be 2-11 right now? Like, well, he wouldn't have got that done here, but the fact that you knew he was going to get it done up there, bingo. Even the Browns had him in their offices last year, and he's able to get out of there. So you'll see what happens.
So by the way, I guess this is Jared Curtis's Twitter account. A lot of people are sending us this. He has said, don't know where all this is coming from. Haven't had a chance to talk to either school yet. Keep y'all posted.
Yes.
I mean, I'm assuming that's him, but I don't know.
Kirby, Vandy's offered me 1.7. What are you going to offer me? Kirby's like, probably 1.2 because I got 3 more of you sitting in my office right now.
Yeah.
And be gone.
I mean, he could look. We can talk about this coming up next. I think he could, if he went to Vandy, he could start next year as a true freshman.
I don't know who they got. I have no idea.
I don't think they have after Diego on the roster right now.
Probably not.
I mean, so either you flip him and start him as a true freshman, which is, dangerous, or you play the portal and go get your next guy, which my guess is, I wonder if that's the discussion of like, hey, we're gonna go get somebody in the portal. Now, if you beat him out, you beat him out, but you need to understand you're a freshman,
right? I mean, if it doesn't work out, you're second.
We'll
team.
redshirt you, and then you're the guy. But I mean, and we can ask Tim about this too, because like I just think in today's college football with everything that's at stake, I think gone are the days of like a true freshman coming in and doing the things that we've seen in years past. I just think with the portal and the availability of getting a veteran, that's what more teams are going to do, and that way the kid can sit and learn.
Is Ohio State quarterback? Is he a transfer? I don't know.
He might be. He actually might be the exception to the rule. He's a transfer.
Parker said that he spent a week at Alabama. Julian's saying.
Okay, but is
is
he a freshman?
Yeah.
Is he? Because Saban's like, there was a jackass at Alabama that kept him third team, and that was him. So, but you look, is Mendoza transfer too, right? Isn't he? I mean, so you look at all these quarterbacks now; they're all transfers. Nobody really sticks around for a while. That is college football now. But if Jared Curtis on his official Twitter is not seeing anything, then I don't know where all this is coming from, because it's being reported everywhere that he's flipped.
Yeah.
From Georgia to Vanderbilt.
Yep. So we'll continue to discuss that and much more. 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Question of the day.
All right. Our question is a fun one that we got for today. A friend of mine got a ticket down in Alabama. He rolled through a red light.
Needed a spotter.
He rolled through a red light and he got a ticket, and the ticket was $272 because the guy, he said, I didn't run the red light. And the cop said, well, you rolled halfway through the intersection, so you ran the red light. So good for the officer getting the ticket. Our question, what's the most expensive ticket you've ever gotten behind the wheel? What's the most expensive ticket
you're going to make me tell this story
you've ever gotten? And I'd say for speeding or for any kind of infringement or violation for driving. What's the most expensive speeding / driving ticket you've ever gotten in your life?
I will tell you coming up next. It's a funny story.
All right.
Involves family. Our question of the day presented by Aries Tactical. Your safety, your skill, your Aries Tactical. Check them out at ariestactical.com. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chase and Big Joe on this Tuesday, 102.5 The Game. Dr. Crane with a little Eastbound and Down. Good stuff. A little Smokey and the Bandit. All right, so here's you asked the most expensive ticket. I will say this, and I'm scared to say this, but I'm going to say it. Since I have been driving, since the age of 16 years old, I have gotten 2 tickets in my life.
That's it?
That's it. Knock on wood. No, I'm not lying. Nope. I got the first one. I was in college at MTSU and got out of class, had to pee, was going to my apartment on Main Street. Those of you in Murfreesboro, Maine, there by campus, that's just fish in a barrel. And got pulled over, and the cop did not care that I had to pee. So that was the first one. And then the second one, which I think at the time, I think it was like $175 was the second one. It was the night before Thanksgiving. I am driving my mother and my grandparents through BFE, Texas, on the way to my cousin Gary's house, which is just outside of Dallas or Fort Worth in Denton. So close to North Texas in that area. And we're on some highway. It's going through towns. And my grandfather and mother are both trying to tell me what to do and where to go and all this stuff.
Right.
And so I missed that the speed limit changed and went from like 65 to 45. And all of a sudden, boom, I get lit up. And the cop was like really nice, but he's like, I'm still writing you a ticket. And I was pissed. And my grandfather felt bad. My mom was like, well, you shouldn't have been speeding. I'm like, well, you shouldn't have been talking to me the whole time.
Well, how much was the ticket?
175.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So
how old were you?
19.
Did you take a driving test or go to class?
No, we just paid. It was in Texas.
Okay.
Like there was nothing I could. I mean,
yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna stay down there to go to.
I got a ticket in Valdosta, Georgia. Dale, if you're listening, you know the story. Trooper pulled me over. It was going 87, and the speed limit was 65. He gave me a $555 speeding ticket.
Good Lord.
And I said, as a smart ass, I said, you put an extra 5 on there. And he's like, did I? And I showed him to him. He's like, well, I'm about to add another 5. And I'm like, okay, I'll shut up. And $555 ticket in Georgia outside Valdosta in 2002. I don't know if I cried or was just shook. I don't remember. I was like, oh, so every time I go through Georgia, I don't speed. I really don't speed. So I'm like, that guy's waiting for me. Something goes off when I go through Georgia. And there it is.
Here's the best part too, because I know you've probably done this. I don't know why we think this when we're kids of like, if something like this happens, mom won't find out.
Yeah, right.
So that first speeding ticket I got in college, I was like, again, I was like, okay, well, I won't tell anybody. Not thinking, hey, idiot, something's going to go to your house, right? It's not going to be mailed to your apartment. It's going to be mailed to where the car is registered.
Right.
So like a month later, I go home for something and, just kind of walking in and she's like, hey, you got some mail over there. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks. And she goes, and she's just holding it. She goes, care to tell me about this?
So did you not pay it?
No. Well, then I did. I mean, I think for that, that one I went to, that one I got, they threw out.
Okay.
I don't remember. I guess I went to driving school.
Is it, if somebody can answer this, if you go to court to protest it and the officer doesn't show up, do they throw it out? Okay.
Yeah.
But if I go, there's like 8 officers that are like, yeah, we're not getting this guy. You're not getting off of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah, the officer, and it was campus police too. So they were like, they were like, whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, good for you. Then.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our question. The most expensive speeding ticket or driving ticket you've ever gotten. Let us know. 615-737-1025.
0667. One time in Utah, I got a $450 ticket for doing 102 at a 70.
Good Lord.
Didn't realize what my speed was, spaced out at 2 a.m. while driving inmates across the country.
Oh my, were you on a runway? Good Lord.
Let's see. Dustin in Hopkinsville. I had 19 citations at the age of 26, and I haven't had one since.
Oh, I bet you somebody sitting over there has not had a speeding. Have you ever had a ticket, Dr. Crane?
No, sir, I haven't.
I believe that.
100%.
I've been pulled over multiple times with my grandmother in the car, ironically, but Minus that, we've been good.
Whoa,
Knock on wood.
Was Nani taunting people? What's going on
No,
here?
just every time we'd leave for dinner at like a Mexican restaurant, we'd come back and lights be behind me and there'd be multiple cop cars. And hey, your fog lights are on. Oh, my bad. Sorry about that. And I just turn on the regular headlights.
Multiple cop cars?
Yep.
What the hell's going on here?
I don't know.
It
just happened twice.
So let me ask you something.
Okay.
When you've been pulled over twice?
Yes.
Is that what it is? Was the cop a male or a female?
They both were male.
Both were male. Okay. Because I can totally see you being like my dad, like officer walks up and you just make a joke. And you're like, how we doing, officer? Was it going a little too fast?
Well, the first time I do recall this, I was on Church Street. I turned right, and then there were just blue and red lights behind me, and I rolled my window down. He goes, hey, just want to know your front lights are off. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Here's my license and registration. He goes, I don't need that. I was like, okay. So that's how the first one went. The second one.
What, Church Street, downtown Nashville?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. The second time, that was something. My nanny, she at the time had her hip surgery, so I had to get her in the car.
Oh, we're blaming Nani for this.
No. It was just a good way to get out of things.
All right.
You know? And I don't think I was speeding or anything. I think they both were headlight like situations. And so the guy was like, oh, I'm not going to write you a ticket, but just want to let you know your headlights were off. And it was like 7:00 at night. I was like, yeah, I'm going off the lights of the street. And I gave him my license and registration. And he goes, yep, you're good to go. I was like, really? Yeah, no ticket. I was like, okay.
Model citizen, zero discipline.
Just pay your taxes, folks.
Nice. Yeah, that's funny. I can see. I think I've told this story before. My dad got pulled over in Bellevue because he ran a red light. He pushed it on yellow, and the officer walks up and says, "Well, sir, you kind of ran that red light." And he goes, "Oh, come on, it was still pink." And the cop laughed so hard.
Got out of it?
Yeah, he was like,
perfect.
He's like, "Slow down, don't run it." He goes, "Next time it's pink, stop." He's like, I've never heard that one before. Let's go to Joey with a ticket story. Joey, what's up?
Hey, guys. So I'll preface it real quick. This was when I was still in the Air Force. I had to go and stay in Norfolk. I was catching up to a team going to Afghanistan. It was 2012 in November. And they dropped us off in Norfolk, Virginia to catch a rotator, but it was like 5 days till Christmas, and we were just supposed to sit there and wait for them. So I rented a car and drove home to Tennessee. And on my way home, you know, there's no one out. It's like 3 a.m. I'm doing maybe 10, 15 over. I had it on cruise control, and the cop pulls me over. Well, he's not awesome at all. And the whole time he's telling me I got to show up for court. And I said, sir, I'm going to be in Afghanistan. He's like, I don't care. You need to show up for court, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, okay, cool. You know, write me the ticket. I'm not going to be there. It ended up being about $485. My dad had to show up and pay for it while I was in Afghanistan because obviously I couldn't show up.
Where were you? Where were you when you got the ticket?
I was in Virginia. I was supposed to wait for a week to catch my flight out of Norfolk to go to Afghanistan, but it was almost Christmas time and my family was in Tennessee, and I was not going to just sit in the hotel room. So I was driving from Norfolk to Clarksville.
Well, good for you, man. I'm sorry you got that. That
Yeah.
officer, come on, man.
Come on now.
Appreciate you, Joey.
Thanks, Joey.
Thanks, guys.
We'll keep these going throughout the show. We'll have some fun with this today. But coming up next, we're going to talk some Titans with our man Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com. He will join us next. Jason Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday. Titans continue their losing ways, and we'll take on the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland coming up this weekend. We say hello now to our good buddy that we saw last night, Terry McCormick, Titan Insider. Terry with us now. What's up, Terry? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys? How was your bowling games last night?
Oh, it was great because it just ended up being me, Darren, and George just messing around and Plaster threw like 6 strikes. So apparently he's in a bowling league somewhere.
Oh, so he's a ringer now, huh?
He's a ringer now. So he tried to deny it, but we're like, we all saw it, so we know something's going on. But nonetheless, it was a good time and a good event that George puts on every year. So it was really cool to be a part of. This Titans team, you and I were kind of chatting about this a little bit last night. You know, I don't know what to think because I feel like that Cam Ward shows some signs of moving in the right direction. Then he shows signs of regression. But how much of that is you got an interim, lame duck coaching staff. You have a bad offensive line. You have a hurt receiver core and not a lot of weapons around him. So how much is it that, okay, there should be concerns on his development, and how much is let's see what it looks like after the new regime is in there with the coaching staff and Borgonzi has a chance at another draft class?
Yeah, I think it's all of that, Chase. I think it's one of those deals where, he's not played as well as I think they probably would have hoped so far. Granted, it is a terrible situation with not a lot of weapons, not a great offensive line, no running game. You probably couldn't have dropped him into a much worse situation if you tried. Now, that said, with a number 1 overall pick, there are expectations on the guy, fair or unfair, that, people expect to be met to say, hey, this guy should be doing this or this guy should be elevating this team. And it's only happened on a couple of occasions so far this year. And I think one of the things that, you guys feel free to disagree with this, but last year it felt like they were too aggressive in the passing game, the way Will Levis and Mason Rudolph operated, and it's pointed out by 21 interceptions that those guys threw between them. This year, they've only thrown 6 interceptions. Of course, Cam Ward's taken every snap, so he only has 6 interceptions, which is great. But the trade-off of that is he only has 7 touchdown passes, which is way, way below. That's like last in the league of anybody that's played any measurable amount of time at quarterback this year. And I think, with nothing left to play for but just to try and develop Cam Ward, why don't you unleash him more? Why don't you go for 4th and 3? Why don't you see a little bit more of what this guy can do so that you can get a full evaluation of what he might be down the line, even though it's going to be a new coaching staff and new players around him?
Do you think that the reason they're not doing that is because the upper brass has basically said, hey, let's be conservative with him right now? Or, because I'm with you. I don't understand it either. Like if I'm Mike McCoy and I'm anybody on this coaching staff, except for maybe Bones Fossil, I know I'm probably looking for a job next year. So what do you got to lose? And I feel like the defense has done that. I feel like, that defensive group, even though they're not the best and they've had injuries, I feel like they're playing their butts off. So I don't understand that either.
I think some of it is just the conservative nature of Mike McCoy and the way he coaches. It just feels like that. It feels like that they've been much more conservative since Mike McCoy took over for Brian Callahan. Not saying that Brian Callahan didn't have his faults, but I think Brian Callahan was more open to a passing attack and trying to push the ball downfield. It just feels like right now that they're not even attempting to push the ball down the field unless somebody's standing there wide open and, with no one within 10 yards of them. Other than that, it feels like everything is a check down or everything is a 12-yard out or a little, slant across the middle. There's really not a lot of aggressive play calls that are going on with Cam Ward in this offense right now.
Talking to Terry McCormick from Titan Insider. Terry, is that the worst football team we've ever seen at Nissan Stadium?
hands down. The Zach Mettenberger, Charlie Whitehurst team of 2014,
Yikes.
2015 would have mopped the floor with this team.
2015 was pretty bad. 2004 was bad too. But I'm telling you, there's nobody on this football team now that you're like, besides Simmons for the most part, like, this is really good. And what the hell's happened to J.C. Latham, Terry?
That's a good question. He just, it seems like at least a couple times a game he just gets boat raced on a play. Now, as an offensive tackle, you're not going to win every rep. And when you're going against a guy like Josh Hines Allen, who's probably a top 10 pass rusher in the league, you're not going to win every snap. But you can't get embarrassed like he missed that block that allowed Tajay Spears just to get smashed and resulted in a 3-yard loss. Some of it's probably assignment. Some of it, he missed some time with a hip injury. But it just looks like, that he's in his own head right now in terms of, what he's doing out there on the field at times. And that happens. Confidence is as big a part of this game as going out there and physically playing it. And right now it just looks like JC's confidence is in the tank.
Has an NFL team ever fired an interim head coach?
Not that I'm aware of. I've heard several people ask that. Not that I'm aware of. And, but I think they're going to ride this out with Mike McCoy. It's only 5 more games. And then, the coaching search will begin, and if you're a Titans fan, could it have gotten much worse than it did Sunday with that lifeless performance? And then you watch Marcus Mariota throw a touchdown to Traylon Burks, and he makes the catch of the year in the end zone. And you're going, where was that when these guys were here?
Right. You've seen that throughout the years when they leave here, especially the last 7-8 years, they go and do something fantastic. Let me ask you this, Terry. Probably the stupidest question you're going to be asked in a long time. Who's to blame?
No, this team can't win the Super Bowl, Joe.
They're eliminated. Who's to blame besides Amy Adams Strunk? Who's to blame for this disaster we see every Sunday?
It's collective. It's on coaching and it's on the general
collaboration.
It's collaboration. It's a collaborative failure. I'm willing to give Mike Borgonzi a pass because I see some of the draft picks that he's made this year that look like they're on the way to working out. Tim Dike, Gunnar Helm look like good players. They may have a decent player in Kevin Winston, but you look at the draft classes of 2020 through 2024, there's probably 5 or 6 guys that are decent contributors. And there's really not a star player in the bunch in that whole 5-year span. There is not one star player. The closest thing to it is Peter Skoronski, and he's a guard.
Right. I got to tell you, Terry, I love watching the Patriots and Vrabel because I know somewhere down in Houston, somebody's getting driven crazy by his success. The Vrabel thing, I mean, what's the word? Schadenfreude, where you feel happy for somebody's failure who's feeling bad or whatever that word is. And I see that with Vrabel. I'm like, this is great because in all purposes, I mean, he probably at the end of the day should have stayed here and been here and ran it his way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. You had your longtime coach right there. You had your John Harbaugh, your Mike Tomlin, your Andy Reid type of guy right there in Mike Vrabel. And because he got sideways with the owner, they showed him the door. Now, was Vrabel completely, innocent in that deal? No, because when you go 6-11, that's really not the right time to make a power play. But I think we're seeing now that Mike Vrabel's way of doing things would have had this team a whole lot closer to being back on track right now than where they went with it. And, I mean, you just look at the whole change of dynamic in the way this team has played the last couple of years. Everything, you had an identity then. You were a power run team. You took play action shots in the pass game, and everything, worked off of Derrick Henry. And then you had a hard nosed defense and that type of thing. What's the identity of this team now? It doesn't have one, really.
Right.
That's the problem. Terry McCormick is with us. So if it's you picking the coach, who would you pick to be the next coach?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think I want somebody who has some leadership skills. Now, yeah, if Kevin Stefanski gets let go in Cleveland, or if O'Connell gets let go in Minnesota, I'd jump all over one of those guys because they're good offensive coaches who call plays before. And and in the case of Stefanski, he knows what it's like to work for a dysfunctional organization and have some measure of success. But based on what's out there, it's probably going to end up being Matt Nagy or Mike McCarthy.
I'm with you on that. All right. So then the next part of that is, that you're probably going to have the number 1 overall pick again, which I think we would all agree you need to trade it this year because you got the quarterback and you need to build around the quarterback. So let's say they end up adding a bunch of draft assets, have 3, 4, maybe 5 picks in the top 100, which should be the goal. Then you got a ton of free agent room with cap room. Then what is the plan if you're Mike Borgonzi?
Well, I think the biggest thing that you got to do, yes, you've tried to fix the offensive line. I think you're going to have to live with most of that going into next year, maybe add one offensive lineman to replace Zeitler at right guard. I think the biggest thing you need a game-breaking receiver. You need somebody that other teams fear, and that can be found in the draft. Look at Egbuka with Tampa Bay. Comes in, makes an immediate impact. Look at what Jackson Smith and Jigba has done in 2 or 3 years with the Seattle Seahawks. You need to find a number 1 receiver. That needs to be priority 1. And then the second priority is you need to find somebody on defense to complement Jeffrey Simmons, an edge rusher who can get after the quarterback and get you double-digit sacks. And then beyond that, you got to start replenishing cornerback. Wouldn't hurt to have some fresh blood at running back, and then just kind of go on down the line.
Nice. Terry, before we let you go, our question of the day is, what's the most expensive speeding/driving ticket you've ever gotten? What's the most expensive one you've had?
Probably about $150.
Where were you?
I do have gosh, probably in Gallatin, I think.
What were you doing, Terry? It's Gallatin.
I know. I do have a funny story, though, that happened earlier this year.
Sure.
Where I got out of a ticket. I was in Portland, and I got stopped for doing 48 and a 30. My wife was with me, and I was on the way to take her to a doctor's appointment. She went to see some specialist in Brentwood about something. And so this was probably like in February or March of this year. So I get pulled over, and we've got to get to this doctor's appointment. I roll down the window, hand my license, registration stuff to the officer. He tells me how fast I was going. My wife, she's irate because I've gotten pulled over. She goes, "Can I just take the car and leave him here with you and write him a ticket?"
Please say he said yes.
He said, "No, ma'am, I can't do that." And he wound up letting me go.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, a little tandem there from the McCormicks. Well done, Terry, and well done, Mrs. McCormick.
Yes, she saved me. She saved me probably $150, $200 ticket.
You should take her to a nice dinner in Portland, not in Brentwood.
Exactly.
Terry, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Terry McCormick, TitanInsider.com. With us on this Tuesday. We'll react to some of that and much more coming up next.
The Curtis thing now is, what the hell's going on?
I don't know.
It's like he comes out and says he hasn't done it, and everybody's like, he has. And others say, so we don't know. Jared Curtis, we don't know if he's flipped from Georgia to Vandy. There's really no final say. So my phone's blowing up every 2 seconds. I mean, I don't know yet. I have no clue.
I have no idea either. So we'll just have to wait and see. 615-737-1025. It is Chase and Big Joe, 1025 The Game. Chasing Big Joe 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday. By the way, I have updated Heisman odds. So this is from our friend at Music City Bets from DraftKings. Fernando Mendoza is the favorite at plus 160. Julian Sayin is next at plus 170. Diego Pavia at plus 190.
So right there.
He's going to New York.
Well, yeah. Who? I mean, that absolutely is.
Now, and I want to check this real quick.
Check it, pal.
Because it depends on where you look. Because there are some places that may have a little bit different. So again, this literally popped up on Twitter as we were coming back on air. That is correct. FanDuel at plus 160 has Fernando Mendoza and Diego Pavia tied as the favorite. Julian saying at plus 195.
It's happening, man. I'm telling you, if Ohio State puts him on his bottom Saturday and he has a terrible game, Pavia is elevated up there another notch. The only strike about Pavia, and they'll deny it, but
yeah,
I'm
I
telling
think I know where
you,
you're going.
is writers be like, well, he's flicking his family. I'm telling that has nothing to do with what he's done on the field. And if you're a writer or voter who thinks that way, you should be ashamed of yourself. Absolutely ashamed of yourself.
I think that rightfully or wrongfully, they will look at how they'll look at the family and they'll look at how he is too.
Yeah.
I think they dock points for personality.
I totally agree.
Which is total BS.
Because they didn't do it during Manziel, because when Manziel did it in 2012, we had never seen that before. We had never seen a guy that gregarious and that, out there like that, celebrating everything. It's like, oh, okay. Then once he got the Heisman and then he was a flop in the NFL, all the voters like, that's on you. And we should. So they don't like that. They don't like all that right now. They want you to score a touchdown and go to the bench and sit down. Ain't it the way it is anymore? It's not how it's happening. And he absolutely should be in New York City. Absolutely should be mentioned in the running for the Heisman Trophy. No player in the country means as much to his football team as he does. And they went 10-2. They lost on the road to Texas by 3 points. They were there with Alabama, and he screwed up at Alabama. I get that. But you're going to have speed bumps along the way, man. It happens.
615-737-1025 is our phone number. Rick's asking us, do former Heisman winners get to vote?
Yes.
Okay.
They do.
Well, I actually think that helps.
Every one of them gets
like
a vote.
Diego.
Yep.
To me, it's just it's a I mean, yeah, like there's a fine line here. Like if you're, a bad person and like you're robbing cars and stuff, then okay, that should probably count against you. But if like you have a little bit of personality,
right,
you can't control your family. I mean, your family is like, if your brothers like to drink too much and have too much fun, that's not Diego's fault.
You guys voted for Jimmy Carter, and his brother Billy was just a drunken hillbilly. I mean, it's fine.
Did he have a beer?
Billy Beer, yeah,
Billy Beer?
He did, which is still worth some. I bet you Dr. Crane's got a Billy Beer around the house as a memento.
Probably.
Yeah,
I have to go look. I to be honest, I shouldn't say yes because I have no clue what a Billy Beer is.
It's a beer that
look it up. So Billy Carter is Jimmy's brother. It was in the 70s?
Yeah,
came out.
I mean, Clinton had a brother named Roger who was a disaster. I mean,
I do have a Candace in my grandmother's basement. Actually.
I bet you do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a Falstaff beer down there, Billy Beer. There's a giant.
Will you take a picture of this?
Sure. Yeah, I'll find it. It's
like,
somewhere down there.
That is badass.
Yeah, there's a Hams beer sign down there as well.
Hams.
Yeah.
Nice.
What do you got down there? We need to go look and explore down there. Is this Nani's basement?
Maybe.
That's awesome.
He's like, no, I ain't telling you.
You're going down there.
We live way down in Manchester. We're not coming down there to do that.
Coming up next, we'll talk to Tim Hasselbeck, ESPN NFL analyst. He will join us next on 102.5 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. And our favorite, the one and only, Tim Hasselbeck, head coach at Innsworth and also ESPN NFL analyst, joins us now. Timmy, what's up?
What's up? How you guys doing?
We're good. We're trying to figure out what's going on with a local quarterback and where he's going to play college football next year, because that seems to be up in the air right now. That there are reports that Jared Curtis has flipped to Vanderbilt, but then there are reports that he hasn't. So just kind of playing the wait and see game right now.
I think he was one that reported that.
Yeah, right. So that's a pretty good source if that is him. But I mean, look, you saw him firsthand, played up against him. I mean, do you think he'd be ready next year to start as a true freshman?
I think it's always hard to tell, just because like the mental demands of a quarterback are drastically different from high school to college. Most cases, obviously level of competition changes drastically as well. And I think that, unfortunately what happens is kind of what, really what happens in the NFL as well, is whether a guy's ready or not kind of isn't the factor. It's who's getting paid is going to play. So, I think that really ends up being the story. So, that's the thing for me, just knowing what I know about college football from calling games, in college for 5 years now, also kind of being, not far from it, coaching high school football and talking to these college coaches. The reality is there's very little competition, I guess is what I should say. Like there's very little competition. And sometimes it works out where the guy getting paid is playing well enough and he should be the guy that's playing. But sometimes it works out where the guy that you're paying is not the best quarterback on your roster. So, ultimately, like whether he's ready or not, chances are, like let's just say he's at Vandy. If he's at Vandy, he's going to be making more money than anyone else at Vandy. So he'll play, period. Like that's how it goes.
Tim Hasselbeck is with us. Now, looking at the Titans, and I nobody wants to believe what I'm about to say, but how much with Cam Ward? We've seen the good, we've seen the bad, we've seen the ugly. Last week was not good at all, and it's been a very up and down year. But how much of that is in his mind? He's having to battle through being a rookie in the National Football League. His coach has already gotten fired, so he's gone through 2 play callers. He knows the coaching staff is not going to be here next year. At least most of them are not going to be here next year. He has a poor offensive line. He has a hurt receiver group and doesn't have a lot of weapons to throw to. So how much is it concerns of his development, and how much is it, hey, just get me to next year and this offseason and let's try this again?
Yeah, I think, listen, substitute teacher. That's what this is, right? And so, when you think of it that way, you're like, okay, well, like, are you really going to do the assignment? Are you really going to, are you really going to pay attention? Are you and so I think I compared the scenario a little bit to the Urban Meyer year for Trevor Lawrence. And unfortunately, that's what it is. Now, look, it is your job now. He does seem like a mature guy. And so, it's different than, any experience you'd have in the past, because in some ways you look at it and you're like, look, I'm under contract for, potentially 5 years. And so I'm not going anywhere right now. I can kind of do what I want. There seems to be no consequence. And so you do have to fight that urge. And so I think that, I think it's a challenging place to be. And I think some of it just depends on the guys. Say like, all right, am I willing to get coached by Mike McCoy, who, is a guy that's coached quarterbacks in this league for a long time, and, eat up as much as I can of knowledge of, from him, try to play as well as I can, and then just be able to, use that to help me going forward with whatever new system I learn. Like that could be the posture and approach, but it also might not be. So I just think that, I think that it's all about how he's going to handle the situation. And I don't think you really know unless you're sitting next to him every single day, seeing how he's doing it.
Talking to Tim Hasselbeck on the Chase and Big Joe show. Tim, and I don't feel sorry for Mike McCoy because he's getting paid a lot of money and he's coaching the NFL. But how difficult is his job to be an interim coach on what is possibly one of the worst football teams we've ever seen?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because, most of the assistant coaches are spending the vast majority of their time looking for their next job. They're not necessarily getting ready for the next opponent as much as they are saying, like, networking, trying to figure out where they're going to go. So I think that, that would be one of the first things. And then I think that, then you look at the team and the talent and the buy-in from the team. Like, I can remember, I'm not going to say who it was, but I was on a team that had a coaching staff that was all getting fired. They knew they were getting fired. We played a game before Christmas, and the coach was like, look, if we win, everybody's off until Thursday. And I was like, hold up. Like, Thursday? Like, because we're going to play the next Sunday. Like, we're going to get our doors blown off because, like, we're not practicing until Thursday. But, like, everyone at that point was kind of like, look, man, like, everyone knows the deal here. We're all out. Like, U-Hauls were packed. So, yeah, it's hard. It's not a normal environment where guys are committed to be coaching in. It's just not.
What's funny is that, we've had callers and people texting like, well, nobody wants that job. Nobody's going to take that job. And I'm like, you don't understand. There's only 32 of these jobs in the world. People are going to want this job, right?
Correct. And it's a good city. It's it's a division that you would think is winnable, but more than that, there's 32 of them. And so when you think about things people have said in the past, oh, the Browns job's a terrible job. Oh, Jacksonville's a terrible job. Who'd want to go to Carolina with that owner? All of those things. Why would someone want to go to Denver? They're saddled with that Russell Wilson contract. Like, all of those things. Like, there's 32 of them. They pay a lot of money. You're coaching in the National Football League, and look at the way that these things flip. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs may not make the playoffs. The Ravens are 6-6 right now. Like the Bears, are leading their division. So, yeah, like, absolutely, they're all good jobs. And, unless you have the choice of, a bunch of them, guys are taking whichever one they can get to coach in the National Football League, to have a chance to compete at the highest level. And you never really know when you're going to kind of, strike gold. Like, you don't know. And so I think that, I like, it's a great job because there are a lot of coaches that are coaching in college right now, making a lot of money, that would take them.
Oh, absolutely. We had a discussion today about Will Levis, Tim, about when he comes back. Does he have, I'm going to say a future, but look, he's got a rocket arm. And would they bring him back in competition with Cam, or should they just let Will Levis just go down the road?
Yeah, it's too early to give Cam Ward legitimate competition. Do you think about how fast things fell apart in Indianapolis? I guess they got through year 2 before they acknowledged, like, hey, we need to develop some competition. And that was with Anthony Richardson getting hurt twice. So I think it's way too early to be like, yeah, we're competing. Cam Ward's going to be the starting quarterback next year, period. Now, like, I don't think it's a bad idea because guys do get hurt, because there is not trade value, because the organization at one point felt like, he was a borderline first-round draft pick. I think it's a good idea. He's an inexpensive backup to say, yeah, like, we're keeping him. Like, these are our quarterback 1 and quarterback 2 next year. This is who they are. And we're going to develop them in their new offense. And honestly, if we can, if we can be in a situation where, you, for whatever reason, Will Levis has a chance to play and he plays well, now he's tradable.
But would they not benefit from finding a veteran that could be the backup, that knows his role, is not competing, like knows what he's coming in to do?
Sure.
And also kind of be that, mentor to Cam.
Yeah, sure. But okay, so, like, yes, maybe, but, like, the problem is is okay. Like, who is it? Okay, first off.
I'll tell you
And
who
if
I
they're
would
on
go
the-
get. I'd go get Mariota.
Okay, so and what do you think he would cost?
I'd have to look at what he's making now, but I mean, usually backups aren't they around 3 to 4 million?
No, I think high end backups are going to be over 5.
Okay.
And then you're like, all right, so we're and listen, because you have a quarterback on a rookie deal, it's not like you can't.
And they have
Like, you
cap
can't-
space, so I mean, they
Yeah, it's not like you can't pay somebody, but like, well, and he'd have to want to come back here, and it would have to be, better than whatever the market is offering him. So like, it's not a terrible one, but he'd have to want to come back.
sure.
So like, that's my thing. Like Case Keenum, is in the league. Like Joe Flacco, is still playing, but like, you're not going to be able to get all those guys, and a bunch of guys aren't going to be super excited about coming and being in a situation where they know they're the backup. Then you have guys where you're going to go like, do you really want Carson Wentz over Will Levis? Like, I don't know. Like, do you? Like, I'm not sure you do. And Kirk Cousins is not going to be available for that price. And so like, you then are back. Now you're in like the Mason Rudolph, Drew Lock, business. So like, that's the only thing I would say about, like, do I believe it's a good idea to have a backup quarterback that can win you a few games? Absolutely, I do. And Mariota can do that. But I also think that, you get better, like, don't chase it too much, because, then you're going to be paying a guy that's maybe a better player than your young quarterback, and that guy's probably trying to still play some football.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll have more with Tim Hasselbeck coming up next here on Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday, continuing with Tim Hasselbeck, ESPN. Tim, Joe Burrow being back for the Bengals is going to do what for that division?
I think it's going to give the Bengals a chance because of where that thing's sick now. It's probably too little too late, just because, here we are with, I guess, like 5 weeks left. I don't think they're going to be able to make up that ground, especially when you consider all the divisional games that will happen that, presumably won't be one-sided. So, it'll be, Pittsburgh or Baltimore. But I think it doesn't make it, him coming back doesn't make it any more clear because, you're just going to see, I think competitive games in that division, and with them, with 6-6, being the top record in that division, it's going to be pretty weird to see, who ends up winning it and what the final record is.
Yeah. How intrigued are you now by the AFC South with Houston's resurgence?
Yeah, I think it's a big deal because it's Houston's resurgence. They're playing really good defense. I don't think they have a brutal schedule or anything like that. And then when you look at, the Colts, their quarterback's got a broken leg, and they're currently behind Jacksonville, but have 2 games against Jacksonville. So I think you look at the Colts and be like, are they about to go play their best football? It's hard to think that they will with a quarterback who's as hurt as Daniel Jones is. And then you think of, what their schedule looks like, which is, not an easy one, and 2 really important ones against a team that already, has the edge on them.
Has Mike McDaniel maybe done enough to save his job?
Yeah, it's an interesting. I think that one all depends on, where the owner's head is at in terms of willingness to make a move and what that will do for the organization. Because I do think it's hard to argue that, those guys have not done a good job rallying the troops, with a couple of good wins and performances. But, I think it's, also what you think of the direction of the franchise under his leadership. Eric Mangini said to me a few times, when we were working together at ESPN, he's like, the biggest thing about, winning and losing games and keeping your job or not is when it happens. Lose games at the beginning of the year, but win them at the end of the year, you're probably going to keep your job. Lose them at the end of the year, and that's what everyone remembers, you're going to lose your job. And I think that, at the time, I'm like, yeah, I think it kind of makes sense. I don't know if that's totally true. I think it kind of, I'm like buying into it more and more now because it feels like that's maybe what could happen in Miami.
Yeah, you're right. The Titans take on the Browns Sunday, and talk about a disaster franchise. They're just as bad as the Titans are up there. You got Shador, you got Dylan Gabriel. I mean, what's going on up there? I know Shador's going to start on Sunday, but he looked really bad on Sunday versus the Niners. And what's happening there, Tim?
Yeah, I think that I think they got to find out more about Shador, and one game's not enough of a sample size, and quite frankly, 2 games isn't enough of a sample size. And so I'm pretty sure that they're playing him because they need to know what they have in him. Now, what they've done there is, I think, called the games in a way that's made it even harder to figure out if he can play or not. I mean, you go back to the first week he started, every 3rd and 8 plus, they threw a screen. And even this past week, while they did get a few more plays in the passing game, it was a very conservative game plan in terms of how they called it. And so, they're trying to win games because they're trying to keep their job, and they've got a really good defense. But I think what's strange is that, they've not called the game in a way to figure out what they have in Shador. And because I think they've tried to kind of protect him like you would really any other young quarterback that's thrown out into an environment, with an offense that's struggling.
And they just, I mean, I can't look. I watched him in college a lot because I was very interested in him. I mean, there's some games he got the hell beat out of him and he stood in the pocket and delivered. So I think there's talent there. But when you tell me they're running screen passes on 3rd and 8 and not the opportunity, I mean, like, what is going on in Cleveland? That's just terrible.
Yeah, it's my understanding. I'm not like saying I'm reporting this. I thought he was a very good player at Colorado as well. Thought he was tough. Thought he was a good prospect. I probably said to you guys, like, the big thing for him was, there definitely was a limit because of his physical ability. I think for some people it's like, wait, what? Like, it's Deion's kid. Deion's like the best athlete, potentially ever. Like his son, doesn't have, physical traits that are, off the charts. And he just doesn't. Like, he has, he had physical skills that, were not traits of first rounders. And, but I did think that he was good at playing the position at Colorado. I feel like he kind of understood how to play the position. Now, he had good players around him. They did a good job with him at Colorado. And so, like, is he a starter in the NFL? Like, I don't believe that he is. And so I think that they're managing it, much like teams that, play guys that are, a 3rd round pick who, maybe don't have the physical tools or maybe mentally aren't fully, there and ready yet to kind of take the reins of a pro offense. I think that's exactly what's going on there. I think that's exactly where Cleveland is.
It just drives you crazy. Let me ask you this. At what point does Dan Campbell being cute and going for 2 cost him his job?
Ooh, cost him his job. I think he's going to be pretty safe for a while. Cost him a playoff spot. Like, that maybe happened already.
Right.
4th and 7. We're going for it.
Good job there. He was so bad that they were so bad in Detroit that I think there's a lot of equity built up in terms of the toughness and identity of that organization that I think he's got some time. And I think he's got some time to make some mistakes without them, pulling the plug. But, yeah, I do think the blanket aggressiveness has cost them wins. And when you look at the NFC North, they could easily, and really the NFC West as well, like Detroit could end up being the best team in the NFC North and not making the playoffs at all.
Crazy.
Because you just look at how it stacks up, like strength of schedule, all those things. And I would take that game against the Eagles. I forget if it was Sunday night or Monday night. I think it was Sunday night. It was really windy. No one was throwing the ball well. I think it was like a 15-9 game or something like that. And they were too aggressive, and it cost them the game. And so I think that like in all these analytics or all of these, hey, like we're just going to go for it and be aggressive. Like we are at a time of year where weather is now a factor. And if you don't pay attention to the weather and how it affects a passing game and how it affects a team's ability to score at the end of the half or end of a game, then like I don't think you're coaching right. I don't. Like, so I'm all for, smart football, understanding percentages. I'm all for, being aggressive if you love calls and all those things. I do think there can be a new age of football in terms of how you manage situations. But something that's never changed. When it's really windy out, it's hard to pass the football.
Right.
Tim, real quick.
And it's also hard to kick field goals.
Yep, that too. Apparently, if it's harder for others than some. But 2 quick ones for you. Are the Bears a prime example of right coach, right quarterback combination? And is that something that teams like the Titans need to pay attention to?
Yeah, it clearly has worked out that way. I do think the quarterback's very talented. I do think the coach is really good. I think one of the things about the coach that people have lost a little bit of sight of is they run the football. Like that's a good example of when did they play? Friday after Thanksgiving against Philadelphia. You know what they did? They ran the ball for like 270 yards, right? So like, I think what's a great combination for everybody is having guys that dominate up front. When you listen, and it's kind of, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of one of these things like Captain Obvious, but like when teams are winning up front, they win football games. Unless their quarterback is just awful and making boneheaded mistakes to cost you the game. If you can be competitive and win up front on the offense and defensive line, you will always have a chance to be competitive as long as your quarterback plays at an adequate level. And so, like that to me is the story. Like that's look at the Bills. The Bills did not pass the ball great the other day. You know what they did? They ran duo about 8 different times for 80 yards, right? Like I think James Cook had 31 carries against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, like you look at the Bears win against the Eagles. Like they had 2 backs go for over 120 yards.
It's been interesting. All right, real quick. You can probably make this case for the AFC too, but it's a little more, I think, obvious. In the NFC right now, I see 10 teams that can make the playoffs. 3 of those are not going to be able to because of the numbers. How do you think that shakes out? Because this has been fascinating right now. I mean, Dallas is surging at the right time. They've won 3 in a row. Philly's going the wrong way. Chicago's won 5 in a row. Green Bay's won 3 in a row. Detroit's hanging in there, but who knows? The South, I think, is between Tampa or Carolina is going to win that division and make it. And then the NFC West, everybody not named Arizona is making a case to win it. But again, 3 good teams go home. How do you see it right now?
Yeah. So, I mean, well, like I said it, I guess I'll say it. I think the tie is going to help Green Bay. So I think we could see Detroit with 7 wins, as the odd team out when you consider that like San Francisco, Seattle, and Los Angeles all already have 9 wins, right?
Yep.
So, so if they're a team that's out, I got to knock 2 others out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically. Dallas probably out.
Yeah, I think they've probably got too far to go just in terms of they're sitting there at 6 wins. Now that tie, like the tie is undefeated in my head when I try to do these projections because it helps people so much. But so if I'm saying Detroit's out, Dallas is going to have to be out, which is wild because they're maybe playing as well as anybody. And then, Carolina, did you have them in there?
I have. It's going to be Tampa or Carolina. I don't see both.
Yeah, and I think Tampa's the better team. Baker's injury not being super significant, I think is a big deal. The fact that they were able to win that game this past weekend, I think obviously ends up being helpful. So having played 1 less game than Carolina already and having 7 wins. I'm going to say that Tampa's the better team and that they're in. And so those would be the 3. And so, then I'm saying Seattle and San Francisco. The interesting thing for me that makes me uneasy about San Francisco, they've just had so many injuries on the defensive side of the ball that I just like how much they can hang in there. I'm not sure.
Tim, before we let you go, our question of the day is, what's the most expensive speeding or driving ticket you've ever gotten? What's the most expensive one you've ever gotten?
Okay, so I was going to ESPN one Sunday morning. There was no one on the road, I-84 in Connecticut. I was going downhill, but I was going more than 20 miles per hour over the speed limit.
Uh-oh.
So it led to being charged with reckless driving. And so I then had to hire a lawyer and go to court.
Oh, boy.
So I'm not laughing at what happened, but the fact
but I've heard of that.
Did you get out of it?
But so it was like one of those things. Yeah, I did. And that's just a whole nother shady story about lawyers and whatever. But like the reality of it is, like, let's say their speed limit was like 55, which shouldn't have been, like in the middle of nowhere, Connecticut on I-84. And then I was going downhill. So I think I was going like 77 miles per hour downhill. No one else, like unaware. And like, I never pulled out like I'm going to ESPN, but like I tried it. The officer was not having it. And that one was not. Learned a valuable lesson. So never, Never speed, but certainly never go more than 20 miles per hour over the speed limit.
Thank you for that, buddy.
I think Kirby Smart is going to call me, have me give a speech.
Tim, appreciate the time as always, my friend. We'll talk next week.
All right, see you, fellas.
See ya. Tim Hasselbeck joining us here on the program as he does every Tuesday at 1. We'll react to some of that and much more. Coming up next, Chase and Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel here on 102.5 The Game.
I'll tell you about one of the greatest things that we've been on this mental health journey that we talk about all the time is when I get a text from somebody who's told me they've reached out, they're going to therapy, and their life has improved. I'm telling you, that makes me so happy because I know you're going to be here. And that's why on our mission here on the Chase and Big Joe Show, every day we talk about mental health and why you're important. And that's why we're so honored to be partnering with Unity Psychiatric Care. They're based right here in Middle Tennessee to get you back on track and living the life you deserve. Reaching out to someone and talking to someone changed my life, and I want the same for you. All you got to do is go to thegamenashville.com, click on the Chase and Big Joe Show. There, you will see a link for Unity Psychiatric Care and start taking back your life. It's private, it's secure, it's confidential, and they offer telehealth. No one has to know. I just need you to reach out. You can call 1-888-508-8002. That's 1-888-508-8002. Also, you may be the one who notices a loved one isn't doing quite well. You could be that person to turn their life around. Again, just go to GameNashville.com, click on the Chase and Big Joe Show, and there on the right side, all the information you need for Unity Psychiatric Care. Listen, we love you guys so much. Help is just around the corner. Take back your life. And this is important. Please know this. You don't have to go through any of this alone.
Chase a Big Joe 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday. Hey, we want to tell you about our toy drive this holiday season. We here at the Game Nashville Sports Network are looking to help out the kiddos. And we want to donate a bunch of stuffed toys to the Nashville Children's Alliance that it's going to be given to kids this holiday season. So you got to help us out. We need you. We're going to be at a bunch of different Dunkin' locations next week in your neighborhood. We're going to be all over the city, different days. That is Monday through Friday. And you can drop off a stuffed toy that a child will love. Stuffed animal, however, but a stuffed toy. You can find the locations at thegamenashville.com/toy. And we really want to thank Metro Nashville Police Department for helping us out with this. They're going to help distribute the toys, but come by and see us. Big Joe and I are going to be at these Dunkin' locations starting on Monday. Every day next week, we're going to be at a different Dunkin', and also Woody and Jim from Totally Hits 93.3 and Haley St. John from The Buzz. Our whole Cromwell family, we're coming together to do this. So please help us out with that. And again, thegamenashville.com/toy is where you can find more information. So we're looking forward to it.
Well done. Yes, come see us. Question for you as we wait on the great Jared Curtis watch happening. Chase McCabe, you're Jared Curtis. Where do you go? Vanderbilt or Georgia?
I know what most people are probably going to say, and that is Georgia. But I'm going to say Vanderbilt, and here's why.
Okay.
I think this is a new Vanderbilt. And if I'm a kid like that, we all know they want to be on the pedestal and be in the spotlight. You have an opportunity to stay in your hometown and be for lack of a better words, a god. I mean, you can become what Diego Pavia is right now on West End and continue to build that legacy. Yeah, Georgia, as Nick Saban so eloquently put it one time, they're going to the bathroom and pooping out another player. I mean, that's what Georgia does. But you've heard that.
Go ahead.
The sound bite's in there. But I think Vanderbilt has changed the mindset of a lot of people. Now they got to keep doing it. There's no doubt. Like, this can't be 2 years of greatness and then it goes back to the way it was. But I don't think that's going to happen. And so if you can replenish that offensive line, if you can replenish some of the weapons that Diego's had, I'm not saying he's going to start right away at Vanderbilt, but I think he's got a chance to play sooner than he would at Georgia, because as you joked earlier, Georgia's got 3 Jared Curtises sitting in the office right now waiting for their chance, because that's what those programs do. They go get, multiple of these 5 stars and then figure it out later, and then the other guys will transfer out. I just think you have an opportunity to do something really special to continue this at Vanderbilt. So that's why I would choose Vandy.
I'm Georgia, not to be contrarian with you, but look, you want to go be with the best, play with the best, go to Georgia. I think Vanderbilt loses a lot of guys up front next year, a lot of guys. You got to replenish them. Not saying they can't do it, but at Georgia, they're built in. If you go down there and you can make it in Georgia and be a star, then you're bouncing to the next level. And that you committed to them because you loved them at the beginning, and now Vanderbilt's come in and kind of asking you out. And I understand that. It's a lot of pressure for an 18-year-old kid. Just don't worry about Sunday. I would tell Jared, don't worry about where you're playing Sunday. Worry about where you're playing on Saturday. I'd go to Georgia, the tradition, everything there. You got the built-in guys that are already there. That's what I would do. But again, I mean, it's come down. Money's changed everything. You asked me this question 25 years ago. We know where you're going and all that, but kudos to Clark Lee and everybody putting them on. I mean, ESPN, college football is tweeting this stuff out. I mean, you've made the national landscape, but just something about going down and playing for Georgia would trump going to Vanderbilt. And that's it. I mean, there's a lot of things you got to build in Vanderbilt next year. Georgia's already got those. You know where Georgia's going to be, and go forward. That's it. Bottom line.
Yeah. And look, I think most people are probably going to say that. But I don't know. And part of it is I want to believe this. This is the fan talking that Vanderbilt has turned a page, but I think they have, because look at basketball. Baseball has always kind of been, and look, baseball has kind of fallen back a little bit and is trying to come back up. Look at basketball. Look at women's basketball. Look at some of the other major sports that they're also going in the right direction because they're playing the game like they've needed to play. They're playing the NIL game. They're in there and doing the things that they need to do because they have the support of the chancellor, of the athletic director, of the people for a long time that kind of stood in the way. And those aren't these people, but those positions that stood in the way, now they're not. Now they're doing the right things. And look, they just rewarded the coach by saying, hey, we're going to keep him here. We're not going to let somebody take him. So they're showing you that they want to play with the big boys. So I'm hoping that it's a continued trend that this is not my father's Vanderbilt.
Well, I don't know the financial situation for his family or anything like that, but I get it when it's about money now. There's a lot of things about money. And if one school's offering you $800,000, this school's offering you $200,000, and you got a chance to get your mom a new car and pay rent and keep your lights on, I don't begrudge any of these players, man. You'll never get me to say, oh, how could you? Never. I mean, I play with a lot of guys like that. Hell, I didn't have a lot of money growing up, and if I could take care of my mom and go somewhere and get a good education and play football and they're paying me, absolutely, all day long. So I'm not putting myself in. I mean, God bless Curtis, man. He's got a big this, and whatever he does, he's going to get blasted by Georgia fans or Vandy fans, and that's just the world we live in now.
This is a Keegan on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHoney.com. You'll only know that Vandy has truly turned the page after this quarterback's hopefully 4-year career. What can be accomplished in the next 4 years decides if the page is turned or not.
It's a good point. Remember Northwestern in the mid-'90s with Darnell Autry. They had a hell of a team. They won the Big Ten. They went to the Rose Bowl. They played Tennessee in the Citrus Bowl. And then what happened after that? You didn't hear from them. They'd go to bowl games here and there, but as far as the national landscape, you didn't hear about it much.
So let me ask you this, because you've lived here your whole life.
Yes, sir.
And I have too. I think if we're all being honest, if somebody said, do you think Vanderbilt football can win a national championship? We were all very quick to say, hell no. No chance. Right? Is that fair?
Never. They could never.
Never. Yeah. Now, with the landscape the way it is, with a 12 team, probably going to be 16 within 2 years, and probably within 5 to 10 going to be 32, with an NIL type system, do you think it's possible?
Yes, because of the portal.
Agreed.
But it's also every other team.
Right. I'm not saying basically any team in a Power Four. Well, I would say any team that's in the Big Ten and the SEC has a chance.
Yep.
And then there are some outside of that have chance. It's kind of like, if you know this quote, look it up. It's kind of like the Ric Flair quote of some of you could be next. It's not everybody. It's not everybody. Like there are certain teams that if you're not in the SEC or the Big Ten, or even some in the Big Ten, probably don't have a chance. But if you're, I think all 16 teams in the SEC, if they play the game right, could win one.
Right. I got this guy's calling me out here. I got to hear this real quick.
All right, Mark, what you got, Mark?
Hey, Joe, you know me. My son is Miles.
Hey, what's up?
I am?
Yeah.
Okay, you got it all wrong about Jared Curtis.
Okay.
He's coming to Vandy because he's going to play. At Georgia, he'd be sitting on the bench. Why the hell would he want to sit on the bench at Georgia when he could start at Vandy and plug into this offense that's perfectly suited for him?
You're losing your entire offensive line. You're losing Eli Stowers. You're losing guys that elevate you to the next level. They're not going to be there, and you don't know who's coming in. I get it. I want to play too, but you won't get the hell beat out of you next year? We don't know.
Guess what, Joe? We pretty much replaced our whole offensive line this year. We had one guy coming back. So we're going to go back in the portal, and we're going to do the same thing, and actually we'll do better because we got a much better record now, and we got more money because we've done so well this year. So, no, I disagree with you on that.
Okay, that's fine. But I'm telling you, Georgia's still a better football team than Vanderbilt from top to bottom.
Well, of course they are.
Okay.
So why go to Georgia and sit on the bench? How's that going to help him?
Who says he's sitting on the bench?
Oh, please. Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
come on. He's not going to be the number one quarterback. Let's get real here.
All right.
Yeah, and Mark, I will say I'm more with you that I think he has a better chance to play at Vanderbilt. I do think they will look at, even if they flip him, I think they would be smart to look at the portal to bring in a veteran if that's possible, and they should convey that to Curtis up front. But I am with you that I think he has a better chance to play sooner at Vanderbilt than he does at Georgia.
Oh, absolutely. No, I agree. And I think that's a good idea to get somebody from the portal because
Yeah.
you never know about these quarterbacks. But you know what, though, guys? Who would have thought a year ago or 6 months ago that a five-star quarterback committed to Georgia would even consider coming to Vanderbilt?
No, you're right. No, you're 100% right. And look, I hope he goes there. I like Clark. I like Barton Simmons. They could build something. But as 45 minutes ago when he tweeted out, there's no decision been made. So hopefully for Vandy fans, he goes to Vandy and gets it done, and you guys are happy. I'd still go to Georgia. But that's why we live in a world where we can politely disagree.
Yeah, but Joe, let me tell you something. I'd put the house on him coming to Vandy. There are many
Oh,
coaches-
okay now.
Oh,
All
I'd
right.
put the house on it. Yeah, I know. You know what happened? I think somebody leaked it. I think Georgia people leaked it, and so yeah, he wanted to do it himself tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. But you know what? In these days, stuff is going to leak.
Yeah.
Through agents or whoever.
Right.
You know?
Mark, where's your house located?
I'm in Franklin.
Okay. All right.
And it's worth a lot, but I would put it all because he is coming to Vandy. Book it, baby.
All right.
All right.
Love you, brother. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mark. Anchor
All right,
down.
see you guys. All right, man. Bye.
That was a good call.
His wife's like, what the hell did you just do on the radio?
We're late. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 2 next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni, 102.5 The Game on this Tuesday. We'll have Peter Burns from the SEC Network and ESPN join us here in just a few minutes. Obviously, a lot to get into with college football. And Vanderbilt will keep you updated more on what's going on with Jared Curtis. All of that coming up ahead. Broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership with a buzz, is always about great service. Right now, I'm putting you on the spot. Is he going to Vandy or Georgia?
He's going to Vandy.
Okay.
There's too much out there right now that's going on. I think he goes to Vandy. Good for him.
Whether it's the right move or not, it's a historic and incredible move for Vanderbilt to land. I don't think they've ever had a 5-star.
I think you're correct on that.
So to land a 5-star recruit, let alone a quarterback, and flip him from Georgia just shows you the continued change in the way of thinking and how Vanderbilt is viewed. So I think that is fantastic. We'll talk more about that with Peter Burns, SEC Network, and ESPN. That's all ahead. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game here on this Tuesday, third hour, and talking some college football. Our man Peter Burns from ESPN and the SEC Network joining us now. Peter, what's up? How you doing?
This has been the longest year of a week ever, boys. And holy hell. I mean, my goodness. Buckle up. It's been an interesting 72 hours. I mean, it's as wild of a wild of storylines as I've covered here, since we launched the network back in 2014.
Oh, the Lane train never disappoints, right?
Oh, the content is king. I mean, he knows how to do it. Like he's going to burn the place down one way or another and pick up somewhere up. And now it's down in Baton Rouge.
The thing that I really want to know about was the dog real? Like, because now there's all this stuff about Juice not even being his dog, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, the dog's real. It's not an AI dog. We've seen the dog. Now, whether or not it was actually Lane Kiffin, I do not believe that to be the case, which I was on hold a couple of minutes ago, right before you guys had me on. And I'm like, I mean, you can't go wrong just getting a dog as a mascot, right? Like
Sure.
It worked for Lane. I mean, everybody loves Kirk Herbstreit, Peter, his dog, and they get to fly private all the time. Like, I got to get myself a dog. Like, to hell with the agent. You get me. I get myself a dog. I got something going good for me in my life.
You have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever and get a dog and name it Kirk.
It just be like, because every time it'd be like, hey, coming up on College Game Day, Peter and Kurt, and I was like, oh man, what my life could have been.
Okay, so let's look at it from I mean, you're an LSU guy, like, so is this the right move for them? I mean, I don't blame Lane for taking the job. I think he could have stayed in Oxford and been, had statues and done whatever, but going to LSU, he's got the resources that he can win a national championship. Now he's got 4 years to do it, most likely. But do you think it's the right fit for the Tigers?
I mean, I think it's the only fit for the Tigers. And again, when you're talking about this as in the vacuum of for LSU, who needed a head coach after Brian Kelly, what else was out there? Like, what else was going to get the fan base fired up? What else was going to address the issues you had as far as the offensive woes that Brian Kelly had over the last couple of years, especially when the defense got a lot better, which was arguably grabbing one of the most brilliant offensive minds we've seen in college football in a long time, in Lane Kiffin. And once they decided that they were going to go down that path, they burned the boats. I mean, this was not we need to be financially responsible. We don't give a damn what the governor talked about investigating Jimmy Sexton or these new wave contracts. I mean, guys, y'all realize, and I know y'all know the details and see about it. Lane got such a good job at LSU, or such a good contract, that not only is he making Kirby Smart money, but also, depending how far Ole Miss goes, LSU is going to pay the Ole Miss incentives for the college football playoff to Lane Kiffin. LSU is going to do that. Like, and that's part of Jimmy Sexton saying, how desperate are you? Well, make this happen. And sure enough, they got their guy.
Yeah. I mean, that is crazy. Do you agree with the decision, though, that Keith Carter made to not let him finish the season and coach the playoff?
1,000%. I mean, again, I think a lot of these things, people keep going back and forth in the gray area. I think a lot of things can be true, right? It could be true that it's a home run hire for LSU, who gave them basically everything that Lane and his people wanted. It could be the right spot for Keith Carter to say, hey, man, like, we're not going to act we're not little brother to you. That's a rival, and I'm not going to let you be an infomercial for LSU, all while being in the college football playoff and saying that's not good enough. Like, that can't fly. And also, I think another thing that can be true, the college football calendar is kind of screwed up because we're making these decisions.
Yep.
So, there's not just one culprit. It's just a perfect storm. And this could have happened last year, guys, but there wasn't any big coaching changes in the SEC. In fact, zero. And now all of it comes to a head. And now we just see it with the biggest firestorm of college football and the biggest social media, guy that stirs it up in a frenzy in Lane Kiffin.
It's been fantastic. Peter Burns with the SEC Network's on with us. I texted Chase. I was like, we got to get Peter Burns on. I mean, you're in the nerve center of the SEC Network where all this is going on. Listen, if anybody ever questions passion of SEC football in the South, have them roll the videotape of the mom at the airport with her newborn in her arms, cussing at Lane Kiffin, getting on the plane. I'm telling you, it just means more, right, Peter?
I mean, again, that's wild. I mean, it's like, the one finger salutes on the way out of Oxford into everybody wanting to say that he's the next, it's like, Julius Caesar returning back to Rome or something like that when he got to Baton Rouge. There was going to be a parade. And, I mean, again, like Lane knows exactly what he's doing and stirring the pot. And I'll be honest with you, like Lane just needs to stop playing footsie and trying to, bring in his narrative of what happened in Ole Miss. Just go full villain. Just
right.
The bridge is already burned. Go full Hulk Hogan when he went NWO and just be the bad dude. And who cares, right? I mean, like, he doesn't care, obviously. And so stop trying to care what other people think and just go win ball games. And if you're going to pay him that money, and I said it and you guys talked about it, let's say 4 or 5 years. I think in my expectations for Lane, for this to work with everything that's gone down in a 4-year period, he needs to be in the college football playoffs in 3 of those years and needs to win a title in at least one. Needs to win at least one of these titles in the next 4 seasons for this to be kind of worth everything LSU's doing for it.
You may disagree with this. I don't know, but I think he's already winning at LSU because he's not Brian Kelly. Because I just think there's so many people that didn't like Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, so the bar was set low right there from the opening part of my family and the cultural fit. I mean, and you got to understand, in Louisiana, we don't have a lot of nice things, but we love chaos, buddy. Like, that's what we love. This Cajun Game of Thrones is like the sloppier it can get, the better. And listen, in Louisiana, they don't care about Florida. I mean, like, they're happy. They're dancing on Florida's grave right now because they sit there and go, not only did we beat you on the field this year, we beat you off the field for the Lane Kiffin Bachelor Rose. And then on the flip side of it, they love the fact that Lane was basically trying to burn Oxford down on the way out.
Great. Here's a more important question, Peter. Will you come to Nashville in 2 weeks when we have the Diego Pavia Heisman Trophy Parade?
I'm all in. You look at the numbers, and it's ridiculous. I mean, listen, Jeremiah Love, a great player for Notre Dame, but they also got Jadarian Price, who could put up some numbers as well, too. Julian Sand, good quarterback, but they sure as hell haven't played anybody. Fernando Mendoza, solid, but he still got 1,000 less total yards than what Diego has. And if you look at Pavia, you can't tell the story of college football in the year of 2025 and not look at it be Diego Pavia. He's everything of what the sport personifies, of saying, I'm going to take a perennial, low performing team and turn them into a college football playoff contending squad, and one that's completely changed the trajectory of that university. I mean, again, I've covered a lot of football in my days, and now I'm sounding old as hell, but Diego Pavia is right there as in my top 3 as my favorite players of all time in college football.
Amazing. What is reason he won't win it?
I think there's going to be old school that thought he was brash and think a little bit too much and then get punch drunk on, it's Ohio State, maybe the number 1 team in the country, and look at Mendoza and what they've done. But go back and look at who the hell has anybody in the Big Ten played. And that conference has gotten so big and so laughable that there's only really 3 teams that are going to be in the college football playoff. I mean, they're running basically a Ponzi scheme on the rest of their television dollars right now that they don't have a whole hell of a lot. And so Pavia's played a much better schedule. He's put up better numbers, and he means more to just the college football landscape of it right now.
I agree. He's not the quarterback at Vandy. They're probably 6-6, but Peter, to a larger degree, he goes into Neyland. Georgia needed overtime to beat UT. Probably should have lost that game, right?
Belt to ass. I mean, he absolutely crushed them. Like, and that's the rival. Like, how much many times? Well, you got to throw out rivalry games, and it's Neyland. It's one of the top 5 places to play, and I don't disagree with that. And Diego made him their little brother for the night, and it could have gotten even worse. I mean, Diego Pavia should win the Heisman, full stop. And I love the story, but I still think, and what's going to be unfortunate for him is I think some people will say, hey, listen, you weren't you weren't classy or something. They'll see the shiesty mask, and they'll see him kind of just his bravado. But at the same time, if you watch him in his post-game press conference too, he gives all the credit to his teammates, talks about his faith and whatnot. And again, it's one of the best stories I've ever had to cover in college football.
You want a full-scale meltdown. If a Vanderbilt player wins a Heisman Trophy before a University of Tennessee player does, meltdown. I'm telling you, meltdown.
Well, I mean, Peyton did get screwed back in the day, but that's a whole different story. But yes, I totally agree with that. And now the question is have you built enough of this offense and showed this to where it's a 5-star recruit might want to go to Georgia and all of a sudden he flips to Vanderbilt? That's when you're talking about seismic changes, and that does not happen unless Diego Pavia is found at New Mexico State, which is a credit to Clark Lee and that coaching staff.
How much now has, you've been doing this a long time. Has your view of Vanderbilt changed? And do you believe that they can sustain this years down the road?
As long as that offense looks like that, and I think that's why Clark, it was so imperative that he re-signed, because I think he can speak to the heartbeat that is. And I mean, think about that right now. Kirby does a great job being in Athens. He's not going anywhere because he's all in on Georgia football. That's where he plays. Same thing with Clark. He can sell that. But I think that's why it's important to have Tim Beck and this offense look like that, because that's where people want to go. And why the hell would you not want to live in Nashville, one of the cities, best cities in the United States? I was laughed at 4 or 5 years ago when the job came open, and I said that I thought this was one of the top 10 teams or top 10 jobs in the country, because that was right when NIL started to hit. That's when Nashville was booming, and I didn't think there was that expectation level that comes with an LSU or with a Florida. So you could set your own, record-breaking performances, and that's what we've seen right now. And they've got it rolling.
Well, and I think too, and this is that it's been everybody above the football program, the ones that always stood in the way, the chancellor's on board, the AD's on board, like the entire athletic department is on board, and you're seeing that through the other sports. I mean, Tim Corbin's had baseball, in the upper echelon for 20 years now, but basketball is getting in on it, women's basketball is getting in on it, and then obviously football. If they keep that up, then they can play in the SEC finally.
You had to be cool, right? And for a while it was always, hey man, it's the private university. Tim Corbin runs a really good squad, and that's a credit to Candace Story-Lee as well too, behind the scenes of tapping into that. And if you got guys, Theo Vaughn and even Manziel and those guys, like Vanderbilt football is cool, and it's been a long time, if ever, that we saw that. And so now is it sustainable? And it will be. I'm a firm believer that this is not hey, you had a good run and it's a flash in the pan. Like, it has an opportunity to go on a run, and that's great for all of college football.
Talking to Peter Burns from the SEC Network. Peter, right now, the best team in the SEC is?
Great question. I still think it's Georgia. We'll see them in Atlanta once again, and just I think they're just consistent and they're battle scarred, right? I mean, like, there's guys. I mean, look at A&M. A&M didn't play a lot of the tougher, schedule of the SEC, and they went into Austin and they got punked a little bit. And I look at Georgia, who's had to deal with Alabama, and yeah, they did fall, but they went toe to toe with them. But then, they went into Neyland and won that game the way they've done. And then they've got this. They're like the grizzled old veteran that returns from the front line and be like, bro, like it's real. And I just still, and it's painful to say as an LSU fan, but man, Kirby just finds ways to kind of continuously get it done.
What is going to make John Summerall different from Billy Napier at Florida?
Just the demeanor. It's a great question, but I mean, the fact of, he had his post-game press conference, and I hate the win the post-game press or the first introductory press conference BS, right? Like, who the hell cares if you win the press conference, win the damn games? But he had a great moment where he talked about, listen, sometimes I take a job and my friends are upset with me because I don't hire my friends. And he goes, sometimes that's just not a fit. And I think that's his demeanor is night and day different from Billy Napier. Billy Napier, you couldn't tell if he won the lottery or his dog died, right? Like, it was the same thing. And that's where Florida fans got upset. We're like, dude, get fired up. And you're going to see that out of Summerall. And I'll be honest with you, had LSU somehow not got Lane Kiffin, I would have been 1,000% okay with Summerall, because I felt like it would have been all football and not, social media stuff. But I'll be honest with you, I am excited for the LSU Lane Kiffin connection. Not gonna lie, it's gonna be good for business, boys.
That's right. Probably a question you're not going to get asked. I'm going to ask you anyway. How do we best remember Mark Stoops at Kentucky?
A guy that, led him to what? I had Cash Daniel, his former linebacker, on my show this morning, and he says, man, 8 straight years they went to a bowl game when we had divisions. There was a lot of time we talked about, hey, if they beat Georgia, they probably go to Atlanta. So it just kind of ran its course. So ultimately, I think he kind of put Kentucky on the map to a certain extent. And now I think that time had sunset, and I love the hiring of Will Stein, a guy that's going to keep Cutter Boley there, who loves Kentucky. This guy has Kentucky roots. And so, it's going to be a little bit of a niche, and a younger generational coach, I think, has a chance to cut through. Now, what that looks like in success, hell, boys, I don't know. But I do like the idea that they went with a really young up and comer and gave him a shot.
It's funny, Peter, about expectations and everything. I have really close friends who are Gamecock fans who in August love Beamer and right now can't stand him. It's just, it's a season can turn you on your heels.
Well, and Lane talked about that, right? Lane talked about that, going, hey, you get 1 loss, you're out of the top 10, 2 losses, you're out of the top 25, 3 losses, they want to fire you. And that's why I'm so interested on this last thing about, like, timing is everything, right? Because if you think about it, had Kentucky fired Mark Stoops last year, they probably would have gotten John Summerall as the head coach. And go back even further, like in Florida, had Florida fired Billy Napier last year and not this year, Lane Kiffin would be the coach in Gainesville, and he wouldn't be in LSU. So, the butterfly effect of just these athletic directors and the tough choices they have to make goes to show you. Listen, I think Alex Golish, the Auburn head coach, was headed to Arkansas until the dominoes fell. And so everybody had to kind of play this musical chairs and find a way to figure out where they were going to make $7 million a year at.
Peter, appreciate the time as always, my friend. We will talk to you soon.
Later, boys.
See ya. Peter Burns joining us from ESPN and the SEC Network. Always enjoy talking with him. We'll react to some of that. Coming up next, it's Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe on this Tuesday, 102.5 The Game. Appreciate Peter Burns for joining us. All right, Joe, I got a question for you with college football.
Yes, sir.
And the way that it has now changed.
Okay.
There still has to be the hot name, the sexiness to it. Like Georgia's a household name, Alabama's a household name, Notre Dame. I don't know if USC is what it once was. But the names that everybody is like, okay, I'll watch. Even if my team, if the national championship is Alabama, Ohio State, you're going to tune in.
Sure.
With this new era, let's say it's Vanderbilt, Ohio State. Do you think people still would be? I think Vanderbilt, and again, the gold glasses could be on here. I think people could be so intrigued by the fact that a team like Vanderbilt finally got to that point that they would actually tune in.
Would you watch Kentucky play Texas Tech in the college football national championship? Let's get out of Nashville.
No.
Let's see. Yeah. That's the problem. We would here because we love Clark and it's Vanderbilt. And it's in our backyard.
And Diego. I think people would watch for Diego.
Yeah, they would. But if Diego's not here.
Sure. I mean, I think now if Kentucky let's do the major what if Patrick Mahomes was still the quarterback at Texas Tech playing Kentucky, that probably changes the conversation, because I remember watching him at Texas Tech. He was fun to watch at Texas Tech.
I don't think they had a winning record when he was there,
but he's still fun to watch.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get it, and that's why Diego deserves the Heisman. I mean, like Peter Burns has talked about him, he elevated everybody around him. You take Diego off the starting quarterback, they're 6-6. I watch.
Yeah.
I'd love for them to get. Could you imagine if they get in the playoffs and run the table? Who says they can't? I mean, they lost to Alabama in the second half, right? They played good in the first half. Alabama's a really good football team. Texas started out terrible, but hell, they took Texas to the wire and had a chance to get that game. Lost 34-31. So this is something we've never seen here. I'd love for them to get in and run the table. Belt to ass, what he said about Vanderbilt. Look, Georgia went to overtime, had to beat him. Probably should have lost if the kicker makes the field goal. And then Oklahoma goes up there and they win, but it was a battle to the last play of the game. Vanderbilt had no problem. And don't tell me Tennessee laid down, all that stuff. I don't want to hear that, because Tennessee was competitive for a little bit and realized, yeah, we're not going to win this ball game. But now if they don't get in, give him the Heisman. Tell me why he doesn't deserve the Heisman. That's a better question.
Yeah.
I want to know why you think he doesn't. And what did Peter Burns, first thing out of his mouth? Because he's brash.
Yeah.
Because his family makes you
because
mad.
they'll be old school people that. But look, I think, to me, the Heisman Trophy is the equivalent of the most valuable player award in the NFL or any other sport.
Uh-huh.
And how can you sit here and say, and look, I'm not dismissing, Mendoza or saying they're important to their team, but I think Diego's impact on this team is greater than the impact that they had, because especially Ohio State has a team of dudes.
Yeah.
And always has. Indiana, okay, it's probably closer to the argument for Diego. And I think ultimately it's going to be between those two.
No doubt. And I think if Ohio State punishes Mendoza on Saturday, makes him look really pedestrian.
Does the conference championship count in the vote? Or have they already voted?
No, they don't vote till, I think, Sunday or Monday. They got to send it in. It might be as late as Tuesday, but it's not due till next week. So if Mendoza gets put on his bottom by Ohio State, and I think 10-2 Vanderbilt sounds so much better than 9-3 Vanderbilt, and you beat your rival on the road, it just sounds and feels better. Yes, he should be in New York City, and I'm telling you, he should win the Heisman Trophy. Nobody elevated a football team the way that he did this year. Nobody.
5-7-4-5. Not a chance Vanderbilt runs the table in the college football playoff, but it's moot because they won't get in. Can't wait for the Pavia talk to be over. I looked at the text above that one. I can't do the Pavia crap. Dude is such an incredibly annoying guy. I've never said this in my life, but go Vols. That was last week.
Yeah, he won. All right. The talk's not going to end for a while. And I'm not saying
whether you
Vanderbilt,
like it or you don't like it, learn to love it because it's the best thing going today.
I'm not saying they run the but would it not be fun to see them run the table?
Yes.
That'd be great. I would love to go to Miami end of January to watch Vanderbilt in the national championship. And I'm telling you, I told Peter this as well. You Tennessee fans, and a lot of my dear friends are Tennessee fans, but if a Vanderbilt player wins the Heisman Trophy before a Tennessee player does, you guys will have a meltdown.
Look,
meltdown. And the Peyton Manning thing, Charles Woodson's pretty damn good. So don't dismiss Charles Woodson back in 1997.
Yeah, Peyton got robbed, though. Peyton should have won the Heisman.
Why didn't he?
I don't know, but he should have.
Right?
He should have.
Don't be a Chris Fowler on me.
I'm not. He should have.
You know what Chris Fowler said, right?
I know, the trailer park tears.
Frenzy.
Frenzy, yeah.
And then denied it, and then it's on, got an audio.
But I had a Vols fan walk up to me last night because I had the Vanderbilt shirt on, and he shook my hand. He was like, "Hey, you guys got it done. Congratulations." And I look. I was like, I wish more could be like you.
You're like, yeah, I did a lot.
I did a lot. Yeah, I really carried the weight. Trey wants to weigh in. What's up, Trey?
Hey, buddy. How y'all doing?
We're good, man.
Hey, I would watch Diego Pavia play against Ohio State any day of the week. I am eating it up. I am so happy for this team, and I hope in Jesus' name that they don't snub them because I consider them a sleeper. I consider Diego Pavia to be the best quarterback in that league by far. He can do it with his arm. He can do it with his legs. You can put the game on his back. Oh, and don't give him the ball with less than 3 minutes left and they trailing by a field goal. You know what he's going to do. It would be a travesty in Middle Tennessee if Diego Pavia and Coach Lee and the whole gang over there don't make this playoffs. And you know what?
What's that?
If Mendoza go to Ohio State and get dragged like they always do, then what would happen then?
Trey,
you would have to give it to him.
Trey,
but I love y'all.
Hold on,
y'all
Trey.
Have a good day.
Trey, no. How much would you love to see Diego Pavia running the Titans next year?
Woo! Don't get me going. You know, hey, that's my quarterback. That is the quarterback that I've been waiting on. He has everything. He can throw, he can run, he can do it all. That's who I would want running the Titans. That's who I would want right there. Yes, sir. And I love y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Trey. Appreciate it. We'll have more coming next here on Chasing Big Joe 102.5 The Game. Chase and Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. We're rolling on this highway on Tuesday. Hope you're staying warm out there. It's cold. It's winter. Well, it's not winter. It's technically
It's the
still fall,
worst. I want to go back to Key West.
I know. Can we do that? Can we get going?
I'm trying every day.
Dr. Crane, get your captain hat ready.
It stays on tap. We're ready to go.
Oh, I love it. Also, the people text about Jared Curtis. There's been nothing official from anyone.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be tomorrow
about this. So as of right now, he has not declared nothing. We don't know. He said himself 2 hours ago, nothing, no new updates, nothing. So we don't know. So we're just giving you the very latest of what's going on.
Indeed. Let's go back to the phones. Our stalker, aka Clay, has called in. Hi, Clay. What's up? Like, I walked into the bowling alley last night. I wasn't in 2 feet, and here comes Clay.
He looked like Pavia running over Tennessee, man. He came flying up to us.
I'm a part of Pavia's posse now, boys.
Pavia's Mafia.
Yeah,
Pavia's Mafia.
I've heard there.
Hey.
I've heard there's a restraining order against you on that, but nonetheless.
Now I heard y'all talking, and I normally try to be positive and all that, and you guys know how passionate I am about Vanderbilt. But in listening to not only Candace's but Clark's press conference yesterday, and all the projections that I've seen today about what's coming tonight, they do not even have supposedly Vanderbilt in the mix. They have them as out. And this is a travesty, boys. I mean, I don't know what else this team could have done. And the different numbers that Clark reeled off yesterday in his press conference, offensive efficiency numbers, stuff like that. I mean, this is a joke. And Clark Lee's got too much class, and I know no coach could ever do this, but I swear I'd be tempted to tell the playoff committee to take their playoff and stick it where the sun don't shine. I mean, this is ridiculous, boys.
Well, here's the unfortunate truth, Clay. The thing that they could have done differently is beaten Alabama and beaten Texas. I mean, as much as that sucks to say, unfortunately, Vanderbilt hasn't earned the slide yet. And I'm with you. They should be in. I can make the case for them to be in, but I can also see from the committee's point of view of, well, should we reward a 2-loss Alabama team or 2 or 3 loss Alabama team
2
over a 2-loss Vanderbilt team? They beat them head to head. So whether it's right, wrong, indifferent, whatever, I mean, it just unfortunately is the case that they're in. Could they still get in? Maybe. I hope they do, but I'm with you.
I mean, do you not think – I just think people maybe I'm wrong. I know in the South, people that are SEC fans, sure, they know who Diego Pavia is, and they probably love watching. Maybe Tennessee fans don't, but I think the rest of the conference probably does because he is a fantastic player, one of the better players, one of the best players in the country. But I truly believe that this is a good enough story that people, maybe even on the other side of the country would like to see Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia play in this playoff.
I just need the scenario how Vanderbilt can get in. I need to know who loses, what happens for them to get. There's got to be a way they can still get in the playoff. I need to see that scenario. And I know you don't know.
I don't have an answer.
Yeah, I know.
I don't have an answer. By the way, Chase, for your lead-in, I finished bowling about 7:30. So I went over to the table and I said, okay, so who all's all the distinguished dignitaries that are going to be here at 8 o'clock? And as soon as she told me Big Joe and Chase, that just made my night. You boys are my heroes.
We appreciate you, Clay.
Thanks,
You're the man.
Clay.
Thank you, Clay.
See ya.
See ya. Kenny the mailman, another one of our friends. Kenny, what's up?
Absolutely. How are y'all?
Good, man. How are you?
I've got a news flash for you. I called y'all before any of the TV stations. That's how high I hold y'all in regard. I don't know how Pavia is going to finish in the Heisman voting. We don't really know. But I just left the polling place up here in Ashland City, and he's ahead of Afton Bain and Matt Van Epps for congressman.
As an independent, or what's
Yes. as a righty. And so, hey, you never know.
Right. Good job there, Kenny, for doing that.
I'm sort of giddy. People sort of hadn't even really understand what I've been saying since Saturday night. We got so excited. But I know what's going to happen tonight with the invitational program for the playoffs. But Saturday was my playoff because Vandy winning in Knoxville has been more rare. I told you that in my lifetime than the moon landings. 6 moon landings, 5 wins for Vandy up there. But just to be able to see that, and my wife and I was just grinning, saying, this can't be happening. It was a dream come true. And you can pull this for your radio station with a minute to go. Have you heard what Andrew Allegretti said?
I did not.
This is T-shirt worthy. And some entrepreneurs going to make a lot of money off this. He said, I only see 3 colors left in this stadium, black, gold, and aluminum. So, hey,
oh,
man,
that's great.
I've got to have that on a T-shirt, and y'all need to pull that and play it because we looked at each other and went, what? But you can't, run the radio back and hear it again. But get in touch with him. He said it. Listen, y'all have a great evening.
See you, Bubba.
Thank you, Kenny. Appreciate it. We'll come back with what day is it and celebrity birthdays. That's all ahead. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5 The Game here on this Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day so far. We've had a fun show. It's moved fast.
It has moved fast. And thanks for all the responses about the most expensive speeding ticket, driving ticket you've ever gotten. And we realize that Dr. Crane has never gotten a ticket. So you are the
knock on wood.
You are the best young man / son a family could have.
Just don't upset your mother.
He's a good boy. He is a good boy. That is for sure. With that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays.
All right. We have, it says National Giving Tuesday. I didn't know that was a thing. All right.
Okay. We like giving.
Business of Popping Corn Day. International Day of, abolishing of slavery. That's great. Special Education Day. Safety Razor Day. Play Basketball Day. We are in the basketball season. National Mutt Day. So shout out to all those dogs. Let's see.
We're a couple of mutts.
World Trick Shot Day is today. And to wrap it up, we have National Fritters Day. Fritters.
Yep. I love fritters. I do. I like them a lot. All right.
You like them and the fish tacos.
I do. Time for celebrity birthdays. Got to get these within 2 on either side of the actual birthday. Chase, we'll start with you because we started with Dr. Crane yesterday. Our first birthday, former Miami receiver O.J. McDuffie. How old's O.J. McDuffie?
71.
70.
56. Dr. Crane, how old's Monica Seles? Tennis player.
59.
42.
Hold on. Were you praying about that?
I was calculating my brain.
Okay. I mean, if you are, that's fine.
You'll know when I'm praying.
I'm all about the prayer.
How old was she?
52.
Okay.
Chase, you go now. Aaron Rodgers.
42.
Yeah. 42. I'll go 41.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
He's 42. But Dr. Crane, you get this one then. How old's Lucy Liu from Charlie's Angels?
78.
You just don't care anymore, do you?
I'm sorry, Dr. Crane.
Just don't care, do you? Don't care.
Just throwing a number out there, Joe.
52.
57.
It's the beauty of this competition.
It is. Chase, singer Nelly Furtado.
48.
54.
47. Chase up 3-0. Dr. Crane. Now you should get this one, Dr. Crane. Britney Spears.
Yeah, she's borderline 40s and 50s. I'm going to go 52.
42.
44. Chase is up 4-0. Chase, you get to go now.
Britney Spears is older than Aaron Rodgers.
Isn't that crazy? God, that is crazy. Chase, your favorite singer, Charlie Puth. How old's Charlie Puth?
33.
29.
He is 44. So, all right, Dr. Crane, you get to go now. How old is news anchor Stone Phillips from back in the day?
60.
72.
71. Chase up 5-0. Chase gets to go now. How old is actor Stephen Bauer? He was Scarface's right-hand man in Scarface.
70.
72.
69. Chase up 6-0.
Nice.
Dr. Crane, bass player Rick Savage of Def Leppard.
68.
69.
65. Chase, bass player Nate Mendel of the Foo Fighters.
57.
54.
57. It's a skunk. It's 8-0. Dr. Crane, how old is rapper Treach of Naughty by Nature?
That's I'm throwing a number out there. 58.
It's a pretty good guess. 57.
55. Chase up 9. I don't think we've ever had a 10-0 defeat. Chase, you get to go now. How old is actor comedian Yvonne Orji? That's her last name.
What a name.
Right? I don't know what she's in or anything, but that's her name.
I don't really know who that is.
Same.
So 48.
57.
42. We're not done yet. How old is Dr. Crane? Is actress Kathy Lee Crosby? She was on the TV show That's Incredible. Kathy Lee Crosby.
What channel was that?
One of it had to be back in the day, only 3, ABC, NBC, or CBS. ABC.
I'm going to go 79.
64.
81. He's on the board.
Boom.
And that's it. 10-1, Chase wins. Well done, Dr.
Only
Crane.
takes
I
one.
had to rebound from yesterday. So.
Only takes one. That's you got.
Hey,
So-
look, opened up a new opportunity.
That's
all.
good. That's good. Good mindset to have. That is going to do it for us today. We'll continue to watch what Jared Curtis does. I have a feeling tomorrow, with it being early signing day, that's when we'll find out. I think he's going to Vanderbilt, but time will tell.
Time will tell. Hey, as we leave every show, our message out there to the guys, if you're struggling, going through anything, we please ask you to reach out, talk to somebody. We're always here for you. On your cell phone, you can dial 988. Immediately, somebody's there to talk to you. But we tell you all the time, find the gratitude, find the good things in the world, wake up in a positive mood. I know sometimes those dark clouds are hovering above you. I understand that. But I'm telling you, every dark cloud moves out of the way for sunshine. And that's what you are. Our world's a better place because you are here. You are fantastic. You've already got the blueprint to success. God's given it to you. It's you. So please understand that. We love you. More importantly, more than anything else in the world, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. Again, you can find out more at thegamenashville.com/toy about our toy drive. We're going to be at Duncan locations all next week, starting on Monday. Stuffed toys is what we're looking for the Nashville Children's Alliance, and our thanks to Metro Nashville Police for helping us with all of this as well. thegamenashville.com/toy. You can find out where we're going to be on which day. And again, this is a Cromwell Media effort with our with Woody and Jim, with Haley on the Buzz, with all of our stations. We're going to be out there starting on Monday, so we're looking forward to that. That is going to do it for us. Don't go anywhere. DVD Live at Bridgestone Arena is coming your way next here on 102.5 The Game.